Hi, this is Jack from theartofcharting.net, and this is an intraday video for Friday, the 19th of January. Our disclaimer: we do this for educational purposes only. We're here to share our technical analysis with you. We hope you can take some of what we're doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. We're not here to issue trading signals. A bit late in the day, but I thought I'd do one today anyway, just to, for anyone who's considering keeping stuff over the weekend, just have a quick run through. Right, let's have a look at EX. Yes. So now here we haven't got any divergence here, but we have got divergence on the RTH chart. Now I was talking on Tuesday night, I think. Yeah, I was talking on Tuesday night, and what I was doing was I was talking about the setup if we were going to see a significant retracement here, and that's an if, very much an if. But if we were going to see a significant retracement here, then it wasn't just about the ES retest. The obvious time to turn was when we did the retest on NQ. Now we've done that. Coming in for another retest, we may well see that. Now, on ES, what have we got here? Well, we got obviously a lot of resistance at 28.0810. We have potential nested double tops here. Here, this was a nice Janus flag setup. We had double top here. It broke down slightly, reversed, retest the high. Classic. We did something very similar. We're doing in the process of doing something very similar on copper at the moment. You see these a lot, but we're back here. What are the options now? Well, we could break up and continue up. We are very overbought here. We should really have a retracement, and I have to say, if this was oil or natural gas or copper, or bonds, and we were looking at this setup, I'd already be short. But we're not looking at any of these. We're looking at equities. Equities effectively have been in a very long trending move, and things like signals and so on don't work as well in trending moves. Anything that's two-way doesn't work as well in trending moves. So the question is, are we still in that trending move, or are we coming out of the wave 3 and are we starting Stan's wave 4? Because I don't think we've seen Stan's wave 4 yet. He was saying it's a bit short. I agree. Wave 4 is when we get more than one spike down. But we had a classic spike down. This is often a sign of an impending high. We then get back. Everyone's complacent again. Bears are all dead. And then you top out and then you reverse. And this would be the place to do that if we're going to do that here. Obviously, some of the time it just heads straight up. So we'll see how that goes. Right. NQ, possible nested double tops here too. It's nice. Is it going to turn? Time will tell. Let's have a look at TF. Now, TF has been the weakest of the three and has shown a better life today. Sorry, transition. And shown quite a lot of life today, actually. So we're heading up to a retest of the high here. We haven't seen that retest yet. I would like to see that retest. The very obvious next move on TF is a retest of this high. And again, I've still got trendline resistance in the 1612 area. If we get up to that retest, there's not an awful lot higher it can go. So watching this with great interest. TF as normal, it's been plowing its own furrow all week. Let's have a look at a couple of the SPX charts, because I particularly want to look at equities and I particularly want to look at bonds today. Equities, where are we? 60-minute chart. Beautiful nested double top setup. Fail here, and the first of the smaller double top gets us back to near the support on the larger double top. The larger double top, which Stan would expect to break down slightly and then reverse back into an all-time high, i.e. it would be a Janus flag, then that would be fine. If we didn't do that, we'd be heading lower, and we'd probably be heading to this trend line here, which is in the 2720 area. So we shall see how that goes. But this is a very nice topping setup. I have some doubts as to whether we're actually in a two-way market here, but if we are in a two-way market, then this looks pretty nice. Okay, let's have a look at some of the others. Let's have a look at DX. DX, right, there was a bit of confusion this morning when Stan was saying there was no such thing as a triple bottom. And I was asked this morning, and I clarified that there is such a thing as triple bottom, but in practical terms it's a double bottom. That's what Stan was saying too. What he was saying was there's no such thing as a triple bottom because it's a double bottom. And I think that's absolutely right. There is nothing actually to distinguish a triple bottom from a double bottom. Not really. All it is basically it's a double bottom with an extra test. There's really no distinction at all. Which one do you take? You take the later one and the larger one. But here you would be using these two lows. That's why I've redrawn this, and on a sustained breakover 90.75, then that opens up the target in the 91.6 area, and that gets us through weekly pivot, which is of course only weekly pivot for today. I like this setup. It looks nice. We're still on a 60-minute buy signal. This has been quite a tough bottoming process, but look at that solid support at 90. It's nice. It really is nice. Unless that breaks, we're going to see a decent rally here, and that's the rally that Stan's looking for. CL. CL, the jury is still out as to whether this is a double top that is breaking down slightly, or whether it is a combination of a bull flag channel with a Janus flag. A Janus flag, of course, is when you have a topping pattern which breaks down and then reverses back up into a retest of the previous high, or low, depending on which way it's facing. So here we'd be looking at the retest here. I think the dividing line is this declining resistance trend line in the 64 area. We have noticed the very slight break below double top support, and it's a nice double top. And the failure to build on that. Really, this is an either-or situation. Either we head down towards the target at 61.1, or we head up towards the retest. It's basically one or the other. So I have to say, at the moment, I'm slightly in favour of the bull flag option, just because this is behaving more as though it wants another retest of the high. I think that is all really about this declining resistance trend line. Is it going to hold or is it going to break? If I'm right, it's going to break. Then we'll see the high retest, and then we could see an overrun to Stan's 66.4, but this looks pretty tired. I think we're topping out, and I think we've just been making a slightly larger double top. Okay, NG. NG still very much in question here. I'm thinking we may well need a retest of this high. Stan doesn't like this so much and is thinking ABC here. I think it's likely to be one or the other. If it is ABC, then the obvious target is going to be this rising support trend line at 2.965 area, and that might well hold when it's tested. So if this is a retest of the high, chances are that's the second high of a double top forming and down. We shall see. No current divergence. GC. GC, I'm leaning towards the bull flag option. We've had very little movement today, so it's essentially the same as it was this morning. I'm still leaning towards the bull flag option. This was okay looking, well, pretty decent actually, double top, but the second high was lower. That always has an increased risk that it turns out to be a bull flag. I like the bull flag. Having said that, it's not a match with DX heading up from here. We'll see. But I like the bull flag set up here. I think it looks technically nicer. No current divergence. Right, ZB. Now, ZB is an interesting one. Now, ZB, we have got down into the area. I was talking yesterday morning about an area between Stan's on 148.17, which was his ideal target, and I think we made it to 148.19 today, and 149. We've got down into that area. We have spent time in that area fairly thoroughly. Let's have a look and see how that looks on TNX. Now, TNX, this is the triangle thrust. Just to refresh everyone's memory, on the 60-minute chart, we're looking at this triangle here. And remember, when we broke up here, I was talking about the way a triangle trades: a back test and a thrust up, which generally gets fully retraced. We are now at the thrust up, and we're probably at the top of the thrust up. What support have we got here? Well, we've got a 60-minute sell signal brewing. We have a 15-minute sell signal fixed. I've got a pretty decent looking rising wedge here on TNX, and I think we are topping out within that. Ideally, this would do just one more low retest. Well, one more high retest on TNX, really, but a low retest likely on ZB, and then that would form the double top and it would go down. Does it need to do that retest? No. But the setup here is suggesting it. So it's it would tick the boxes and nicely finish it off. Once we break through this wedge support, then we should be on the way back to the retracement, which get back to 24.36 or within a reasonable distance of. So this was the bottom of the retracement from the initial breakout. So that would be the ideal target. 24.36 is the bottom of the wedge. I really like ZB for a turn here, and I think it's probably going to turn here. We're already on a 60-minute buy signal. It's looking good. If we get down below, much below 148.17, this bottoming setup will start to weaken, and things like this nice double bottom here would start to weaken. But at the moment, this is really looking like reversal at exactly the point we were expecting it to hit. So I like it a lot. HG. I'm going to take a couple of questions after the end. So if you've got any, just put them in the room. Now, HG, this is a very, very nice Janus flag setup. What's happened here is we have had a nice double bottom form, break up slightly, hit the weak pivot, reverse hard. This has a target. I was saying it this morning and I'm saying it again. We're closer now. This should have a target to retest this low. Now, this is the other wave that Stan was leading towards seeing. We should go a little lower. I've got trend lines support in the 3.1625 area. I'd expect that probably to be respected. And then we should be making a double bottom when we should go. Double bottom target will take it through flag resistance, but that's okay because we're expecting the flag to break up towards a minimum target and retest this high at 3.3215. I'm already long. I might add on Monday, depending. So we may or may not do this retest today. It would be neater if it did, but obviously we've been flagging here for a while. That may continue into the weekend. Right, KC. Ho-hum. Right, KC has broken up, come back. I was talking about the likelihood we would see a retest of this low. We've seen it. We don't have any current divergence here. This is obviously a nice looking potential double bottom. We have potential unfinished business below at 1.183. Stan's not expecting to see that though, and that increases the probability that what we're actually looking at here is just a double top, and that we've made the second low and that we're just about to head up. If we do head up, then obviously resistance is at the monthly pivot, and the target would be up here in about the 1.29 area, I think. That's a pretty nice looking setup and decent odds that we're going to turn here. SB. SB has finally broken up. About time too. It wasn't nice enough to generate a 60-minute buy signal when it did it, but I mean SB is one of those instruments which does this sometimes. I think I'm looking for a bottoming setup here and a rally. I don't know how far that gets. Stan was talking about the long setup being broken here, so we'll have to see. But I would have thought we're probably going to see a rally back into, I don't know, 14 area ideally. And then we would see what happened. I think Stan's going to be looking again at this over the weekend, so will I, and we'll see. Not the most classical friendly instrument, Sugar, I would note. CC. CC, I was talking about this morning. This is a potential Janus flag. We're getting a lot of them today. These things do often arrive in clusters. And this has taken the form of an IHS, which is breaking up and failing. Now, it hasn't failed yet. We've got strong support here, monthly pivot, weekly pivot. Weekly pivot is only the weekly pivot for today. But notice the pattern I've drawn in here, which is a rising wedge. And this is a bearish rising wedge. And it's often, basically, what you're looking at is a bear flag forming, which is concealed by an apparent bottoming pattern. And then, characteristically, they break up slightly, reverse back down, and the target is a retest of the low. So if we break down below monthly pivot and convert that to resistance, we should be heading back to a retest of this low. No ifs, no buts, no maybes. That's actually a better fit with what we were thinking on CC here than this IHS playing out to the target. So let's see what happens there. ZW. All right, ZW, we've got a fail at the monthly pivot so far, back under the weekly pivot, but it's obviously only for today. So what have we got in terms of signals? Nothing. That's slightly annoying, but fair enough. What I was saying this morning was this bear flag megaphone broke down, and that's got a minimum target at a retest this low, which is a 410.5, and we haven't reached it yet. We should go and reach it. So I was saying if we broke and converted monthly pivot, then fair enough, maybe we weren't going to make it. I said if we didn't break and convert monthly pivot, then I was still looking for that target. We haven't broken and converted it. I'm still looking for it. Possible head and shoulders forming to take us back to a retest this low, and then I would be looking for a full retest of 410.5. Again, Stan was feeling a little doubtful on the long setup. I'm not really. I really like it. I like it after that retest, unless we can break and convert the monthly pivot. Okay, I'm just going to have a quick look at the currencies, GBP, USD. Man, this is slow transitions there, apologies. Right, GBP USD, nice looking double top here. We're on a 60-minute sell signal. I'm expecting this to deliver a decline to what is the weekly pivot now, but won't be the weekly pivot by the time it's reached in all probability. This is a nice looking little double top. Chances are it's going to deliver. Euro USD. This is the problem with using the live charts rather than captured ones, but for intraday updates, it works better on live charts. Possible double top here, didn't make the full retest of the high, but obviously we did see that on DX. So is this still potentially the same double top? Potentially, yes. This would have a target down in the 20.8 area. Depends what happens here. This could also be a bull flag forming. I'm not discounting that possibility. DX has obviously been hesitating to get off the ground. If that continues, sooner or later it's going to break through that 90 support, and the chances are then at that stage the rally is probably cancelled. USD JPY. USD/JPY broke up, didn't make target, has reversed, possible Janus flag again. The obvious read here is that we're forming a larger double bottom, and that we're going to come back and retest this high. Equally, those could be A, B, maybe a C up starting here. We'll see. But normally, having got to this stage, I think this is a bearish pennant forming. I'm expecting at least a retest of this low, and very possibly a retest of this low here. We shall see. USD CAD. CAD, I'm still working this possible triangle here. Sooner or later, I'm expecting this to break down and make the full double top target at 1.2325. Hasn't made that yet. Finding resistance at the weekly pivot at the moment, but obviously that's only the weekly pivot for today. Declining resistance is the main one, the triangle resistance, and that's currently a shade over. Well, that's 1.2505. So watching that for resistance. Australian dollar. Australian dollar is probably turning here. I've got a nice looking rising channel. The next obvious target within the channel, although we've got a possible double top here, obviously, is channel support currently in the 79.30 area, and that is going very possibly going to be a pretty good match with the double top support by the time it is reached. So we shall see. Hang on, my son is on the phone. I don't let him call during videos. Right, NZUSD. This tends to be fairly heavily tied to Australian dollar, so if dollar is reversing, then NZ's going to do that. There's a pretty nice looking setup here too. If this is a double top, I would be calling it with this support trend line here. Equally, it could be a head and shoulders forming. No current divergence, but I like this to the downside, and I've got a very nice looking rising wedge with rising wedge support currently in the 72.5 area. I would expect that to be tested, and then a decision to be made as to whether that's going to break and we're going to see a larger retracement. Alright, great. In that case, I'm going to end the video here, and I'll take any questions if anyone's got any.